What's up, everybody? My name's Big Cam and welcome back to another Monday morning Comically Boston weekly nerdy news podcast, where every Monday we discuss the last week in nerddom. And this week, not too crazy a week. There was some movies that came out in cinemas. I went and saw The Mandalorian and Grogu, so if you're looking to see spoiler-free or a full spoiler review, both of those are currently out on the channel, so go check that out. And we will briefly discuss more about The Mandalorian and Grogu in a minute. But just to jump right on into this episode, also last week was the sad ending of the Colbert Show. And the last Late Show with Stephen Colbert finale attracted 6.74 million viewers and is the most watched weeknight episode of all time. And it just makes no sense why they would cancel Colbert. He, out of all the late night guys, was #1 in ratings. So it's like, oh, we're not profitable enough. What are you talking about? You're the #1. It's not like they were canning Seth Meyers. They, like they canned him because he said a joke against Trump and Trump didn't like it. So there goes Colbert. Like, that's terrible. And the fact that that was even allowed to happen is crazy. But, fuck CBS, and I love Stephen Colbert, so shout out him, and I hope whatever he does next he's very happy with, and I think it's going to be going off to co-direct or co-write a Lord of the Rings prequel movie, so I think Stephen's in a good place, and he's retired, and I think the world will be in a worse place without him telling his jokes every night, but it is what it is. It's up to the two Jimmys and John Oliver and Myers now, and Jon Stewart. But speaking of getting fired, just this report from Variety came out the other day that Tom Hardy was fired from Mobland Season 3 after Season 2 production wrapped. And, reports had been saying that, like, Tom Hardy was late to set all the time and fighting with producers and trying to change script lines last second. And, like, out of all of Tom Hardy's career, I've never heard of him being a prima donna on any of his other sets, and everybody else seemed to really like Tom Hardy on those other sets. But who knows, maybe at this point in his life he's fed up with morons, and maybe there were some morons working on this set. I mean, it is like a Paramount picture thing, I believe, because that's on Paramount Plus, the Mobland show. I haven't seen it. I did hear good things about the 2 seasons because it's got, Pierce Brosnan, Helen Mirren, and Tom Hardy, so the cast was pretty good. But if they're kicking Tom Hardy to the curb for Season 3, I don't know, I feel like viewership probably won't be there. Tom Hardy's a pretty popular guy, but I don't know, anybody that watched Mobland, anybody that knows more about this, do you think Tom Hardy or Stephen Colbert deserve to get fired? But moving on into a upcoming show with some character posters here from House of the Dragon Season 3, and this will be coming late June 21st, and we have a Rhaenyra poster here that says Burn Mercy, and there was actually a bunch of these, but I only grabbed a couple, and the couple that I thought looked cool, but each of them had their own little saying, so I probably should have grabbed all of them. But Rhaenyra's says Burn Mercy, Aim One Eyes says Burn Justice, and you can see like the soot all over his face and the scar down his eye and that one blue sapphire eye or whatever that is. So cool. But we also have his brother, Aegon, and his burned face, and it says Burn Glory, or it just should have said Burned. But then the final one I grabbed here was Alan of Hull, and I believe we're going to see him in a big old battle of the Gulf at the start of episode 1 of like Season 3, and they're going to be starting with a war, but his says Burn Humility. Ooh, and I think Alan of Hull there, he maybe should grow out his white hair and be more of a Targaryen or whatever, a Corlys Valerians? I don't know. It's been a while since I watched House of the Dragon, but I can't wait for that to come back. But switching it up into a different HBO show that should be coming later this year in August, and just recently there was a full trailer for the Lanterns show, and showing us more of what that Lantern series will be about. And they showed a brief glimpse of Hal Jordan's super suit and his Green Lantern suit. And I shared the sentiment that I thought it looked a little too blocky, but maybe it's more of like an armor type of thing rather than a suit, you know what I mean? The sentiment was shared by many people, and they seem to not really love this Hal Jordan suit. I do like that in the flashback it's much more clean and green, and the way that it looks now means that it's been destroyed or deteriorated over a long period of time and many years of him being a Green Lantern, which I'm still excited for the show. But then I saw this little like fan mock-up of what the suits could look like, and just like this one side by side with what we got from Guy Gardner, and I wasn't mad at him with that bowl cut, but seeing the image on the right with the white high gloves in the big old white belt buckle, the very, very saturated like green, like, oh, I don't even know what you'd call that green. It's almost like a leathery green. Like, it just looks so good, and it pops with the big old lantern symbol on his chest. And then the hair, somehow the bowl cut looks better, and it's like orange and it's red like that. I don't know, I think I prefer the look on the right for Guy Gardner. And you know, that same type of vibe, like in the post with these pictures, just said, is this too hard or too much to ask for? You know what I mean? And I think Hal Jordan's suit on the right looks way better, but I'm not necessarily in love with that suit either. That's also giving me more of like Iron Man type vibes maybe, you know, with that suit on the right. And you know, I'm not necessarily here for how metally that looks. But on the left for Jon Stewart, I really like that look, you know. Maybe ditch the gloves. I think he can just wear bare hands with the ring. But, you know, that's much more of the type of suit I want, where it's like skin tight. It's got this really popping color of green. The Green Lantern logo isn't just like a small badge on his chest. Like, make it big, make it prominent. Like, these guys are Green Lanterns. Show it off, you know, and give them some cool suits. You know what I mean? Like, the Justice Gang suits are alright, but like, Guy Gardner should have a much cooler Green Lantern suit, I think, you know. And hopefully that's just because of Maxwell Lord, and once they get some Wayne tech into the Justice League, maybe Guy Gardner's suit will get an upgrade. But I really hope so, because right now he's just ugly compared to that other version. But like I said, over the weekend, I went and saw The Mandalorian and Grogu. I actually went on Thursday, the opening night, just because I couldn't wait. I'm that big a fan. I was like, I gotta get there the first possible showtime I could see it here in Massachusetts, which was a 2 in the afternoon Thursday showing. But now it is Monday, the 25th, Memorial Day. So happy Memorial Day, anybody out there that's celebrating. It's been a rainy, cruddy weekend here in Massachusetts, so we're actually going over to see The Mandalorian and Grogu again today, but I'm bringing my roommate, my other buddy Langone, and my mom and sister, so making a Star Wars family affair here. And after what I've seen, they all haven't seen it, so I'm going to try and not spoil it for them. But after what I've seen, I think I'm agreeing much more so with audiences now, with the Rotten Tomatoes score sitting at 64% critic score with 196 reviews, and an 88% audience score with 1,000 plus verified ratings. And yeah, an 88 is probably closer to the score that I had. You know, I'm somewhere right in the middle, but that in-between score of a 64 and 88 feels a lot more correct than like sub 60. You know, like the initial critics reviews were like 58%. Like I couldn't understand that, but I'm glad that audiences are seeming to like it, and word of mouth is spreading a little bit more, that people are like, I don't know what the hate was for, I really like this, you know. And like, maybe there is some hate because it's like, sure, there is no lightsabers in this movie, you know, like, but I actually didn't even realize till I got home afterwards. I was like, oh, you know what? That was an entire Star Wars movie, not a single lightsaber. And I'm like, you know what? I kind of dig it, you know? It didn't need it. It was Mando on another journey being a bounty hunter. Like, as long as him and baby Grogu are there, that's all that matters for me. And like, do you really need a lightsaber for it to be Star Wars? For me, not so much, you know? I think it's more so the Force needs to be present for it to feel like Star Wars. But also, like, does either of those two things need to be present for it to be Star Wars? I mean, watch Andor. That didn't have lightsabers or the Force. It still felt Star Wars, and still one of the best things they've ever put out. So, I don't know, but I'm very excited to see The Mandalorian and Grogu again, and I love this poster of here with Grogu over his shoulder and just the silhouette of Mando, and then this other poster they put out with them like, almost like it's on like they're on Tatooine and they're in front of the sun, and you know, the Hutts, and yeah, it's just a awesome movie. The Anzellan Zeb, oh, I can't wait to go see this again. And you know, from the people that know the animated stuff, if you know this little baby guy, right, like this little thing here is a sculpture of ROTA the Hutt from his one appearance in the Clone Wars movie, I believe. And, you know, Ahsoka and Anakin have to go save him, and they're calling him Stinky and whatnot. But ROTA the Hutt is Jabba the Hutt's son, and he's this little baby creature, and this one time we've seen him, but now, if you didn't know, he has grown up, and he's a big old gladiator, and he's jacked, and he's huge, and he's awesome. And I think ROTA the Hutt is one of my favorite new characters that I've seen. And at first I was like not sure if I liked him or not, and I didn't know if like I liked the Jeremy Allen White of it all, because also Jeremy Allen White voices this character, and I'm not sure if he did like motion capture or whatnot, but like it's definitely his voice, and then they like warp it into making it sound more like Jabba. But like, you know, he speaks a little bit of English in this. He doesn't just speak pure Huttese either, so it's kind of different seeing that as well from a Hutt. But you know, he's a fighter. He's cool. You know, he's not just one of those fat slugs that sits there and does nothing. This guy fights and he gets around. Not fast, but he gets there. But yeah, ROTA the Hutt is Jeremy Allen White, and I can't wait to go feast my eyes all over again on this. But comment below if you went over this weekend to go see The Mandalorian and Grogu. I'd love to hear your thoughts. But we're almost done here, just wrapping it up with a little bit of Marvel news, and then we'll finish it with a what you watching. But yeah, so Marvel just announced recently that they're shaking things up, and a big old shakeup at Marvel Comics after almost 30 years, and their current guy, Dan Buckley, is leaving, and he's stepping down as publisher and president of Marvel Comics, and the top job will now go to Brad Winderbaum, and he is currently the head of Marvel TV and animation. So Brad got a little bit of promotion and added some titles to his job title now. So now he is the head of Marvel Television, Animation, Comics, and Franchise. And Feige, when asked about Brad getting this new job, and I think Kevin Feige's trying to make Brad Winderbaum the next Kevin Feige, right? So once Feige steps down, Brad Winderbaum will be like his apprentice, you know what I mean? Kind of like George Lucas and Dave Filoni. But I don't think Kevin's stepping down anytime soon. But either way, Kevin Feige said, Brad brings a proven ability to lead creative teams and craft ongoing episodic narratives that resonate with our fans around the world. And it will add comics and franchise to his roles. And good for Brad Winderbaum, you know, I'm not too mad at that. You know, I think he's a good guy, and I think he deserves the role. I don't think he's done necessarily a bad job with Marvel Television, although he is doing what he was told, which is like, hey, we needed shows, and they just started making stuff and pumping it out right around COVID time, because I think it was Chapek was like, we need a show coming out every week, and they were like, okay, you know, and that's where everything started. But after Daredevil Born Again Season 2 and where they're going with that, I have confidence, at least to see what he's currently doing, see it through, you know what I mean? But I don't know if he's going to be any good at doing the comic side of things, you know. I think he's more of a TV guy and movie guy than a comics, but I feel like Brad's also the type of guy to let his crew run it if they know what they're doing, you know what I mean? If it ain't broke, don't fix it in certain senses, you know what I mean? But in other Marvel news, later this week, the Spider-Noir series will be coming to Amazon Prime May 27th, and I believe it's dropping as a binge watch all at once with all, I believe it's 8 episodes at once, and it's going to be in black and white and in color, so I'm probably going to do, like, my first watch through, I'm going to do, like, color, black and white, color, black and white, or vice versa, and then I'll probably rewatch it in one or the other, you know what I mean? Maybe do it one way and then rewatch it the other way. But yeah, I'm definitely going to go through and do breakdowns for Spider-Noir. If anybody's excited about that and wants to see these breakdowns, comment below. Would you rather see it in a one big bundle episode, or would you rather see individual breakdowns? And whatever you want, I'll go ahead and do that for you. But if I get no responses, I'll probably do like a bundle episode that will come out sometime later this week, probably Friday if I'm guessing, because I think that comes out on Thursday, or comes out on Wednesday, so yeah, I probably won't be able to watch it till Wednesday night, Thursday, yeah, so. But at some point this week, there will be a breakdown for Nicolas Cage's Spider-Noir, and yeah, I can't wait to see that, and I've heard good things. Reviews for that coming out have been pretty positive, so yeah. And yeah, just finishing up here with what you watching. I'd love to hear how you guys have been. You know, nothing too crazy going on over here. Personal life is still falling apart to pieces, but it is what it is. Trying my best over here. But just finished recently. I didn't end up making breakdowns for the channel, but I think next year when Season 5 for Invincible ends up coming out, I think I'm going to, you know, double back and do like season breakdowns for the first 4 seasons, and then do episode breakdowns for the rest of Season 5. And just like Invincible's it's such a good show. Like, I couldn't believe how good a show. Like, I ended the final episode of season 4 the other night, and the title of episode 8 of season 4 was "Don't Leave Us Hanging There." So literally the title was like, oh my god, this is the biggest spoiler ever, and like biggest cliffhanger, where you're just like, that's where we're left for a year, you know, or however long it is until the next season comes out. I just have to sit here like, Thrag, oh my god. Like, Thrag is no joke. The power on Thrag, crazy. But Nolan and Mark are kind of back together, and kinda, not really, and you know, they're heading back for Oliver, and he's with Eve, and yeah, just wild stuff going on in the Invincible world. And like, it's got so much humanity for a cartoon, but then it's not a cartoon, it's like fully for adults, even though it's starring like a teenage college age kid, and you know, like, it's just incredibly well done. You know, Robert Kirkman and the crew over there for Invincible, shout out you guys. That's really such a good show. And then The Boys season 5 just wrapped recently, so the completionist in me didn't want to watch just season 5 and make videos on it, because I never made any videos for The Boys. So maybe I will, but I'm thinking more so I'll just give you like my kind of thoughts in the What You Watching segment at the end of these episodes as I'm going through it. Currently, I'm only about halfway through season 1 of The Boys on a rewatch. I think I've watched 4 seasons, but it's been a while since season 4 came out, and I do not remember fractionally anything. Like, even through the first 4 episodes of season 1, there's things I remembered, but there's things that I'm seeing that I'm like, oh my god, I didn't remember this at all. You know, like Huey going to get baptized by that weird church guy that's like stretchy, and I think his name is Ezekiel in Homelander, and I was like, wait, what is happening? I don't remember this at all. Like, but The Boys was really good either way, you know, and I really have been enjoying those 2 shows, and I wish I had more Invincible to watch at the current moment. I really enjoyed that show. But yeah, so I'm gonna wrap up The Boys in the next couple weeks here, and hopefully that sticks the landing for me. And then we're gonna have Spider-Noir later this week, so I'll be watching that as well, and some new movies. I think The Bride just came out on HBO Max, so stay tuned for that. There should be a movie review coming to the channel for Maggie Gyllenhaal's The Bride, starring Jessie Buckley and Christian Bale, I believe, and that looked good, and I almost started that last night, but it was like 11:30, so I was like, I'm going to bed soon, let me watch this maybe tomorrow. So hopefully tonight at some point I'll be able to get to watch that, and movie review will be coming to the channel soon. So make sure you guys hit that bell so you don't miss future Comically Boston or future videos, and you'll get the notifications when those come out. Once again, my name's Big Cam, 2 G's in the Big. If you want to follow my other social medias, links for those down in the description below. And if you made it this far into the video and you would like to support the channel, the best way of doing that is dropping a like on this video, commenting down below, subscribing if you haven't already, and hit that bell so you don't miss future Comically Boston weekly nerdy news podcasts every Monday, and you'll get that notification when it comes out. And I can't wait to see you guys next week. But once again, my name's Big Cam, and I'll see you gorgeous folks in the next one. Peace.